This is a video that I've been trying to do all day long, and every time I do a little bit of it, I am a little less satisfied each time. So I'm hoping this is going to be the last time I have to attempt this video today. So with that being said, welcome to the channel, and I hope everybody's having an awesome day today. Today we're going to do a bit about what it's like owning a diesel truck that's deleted or straight piped. Now, before the DPF delete was done, it was essentially silent other than a little bit of engine noise, but not a lot. It was nice, honestly. Every vehicle I've ever owned has always been loud. And the first couple months owning this truck where it was quiet and stock, it was actually really nice. It was a nice break from having loud, obnoxious vehicles. And after a while, you know, you start getting bored with your vehicle, so you want to start modifying it a little bit here and there. And that's exactly what I did. The very first modification I did to this truck was my DPF delete, and I unplugged the EGR. And I only recently actually deleted the EGR fully with my buddy Mike there. But since I did the delete, there's a few things I've noticed that is much different when you own a deleted truck. It's, you know, better on fuel depending on how you drive, and not only that, but it's really loud, and not a lot of people like that, especially if you're in a neighborhood where everybody's, you know, fairly quiet. You know, my one neighbor's got a motorbike, and he's pretty loud with that. It depends on, you know, how early you fire it up, but my neighbors definitely aren't a huge fan of my truck, especially in the winter months when I fire it up earlier in the morning to let it idle for a little while, warm up the engine, get the oil flowing, get the turbo warmed up and all that, which most of you know that you should more than likely do, especially in our northern climate up here in Canada. And regardless of the temperature, I warm it up about 15 minutes a day. My neighbors especially don't like it. It's fairly loud. One thing I noticed is you tend to drive a little bit more like an ass when it's deleted. I mean, I know I do, and I don't really mean to, and I try my very best to drive as respectful as I can, especially now that I'm doing this whole YouTube thing, becoming a public figure, I guess you could call it. You know, I try to be a little more civil with it. I try not to blow as much smoke, things like that. But it's much louder, and the police especially pay more attention to you. You know, so especially when I'm going by a cop or whatever, I really pussyfoot it. Try not to draw as much attention to myself, especially now that I got wider rims and tires, and I got the front bumper on and all that. It's definitely more of a heat score. And I plan on doing many more modifications to this truck. Like I'm going to tint my windows. I've got to get a new windshield too. I'm going to tint the top and bottom brow of the windshield. It's much louder now, which I do enjoy it. I like it quite a bit. When I'm doing road trips without my trailer, it's not bad. The drone isn't that bad. But when I've got my trailer on, you know, a couple hours here and there, it's not a big deal. If I'm going 10, 12 plus hours, which I've done on many occasions due to my job, it does get a little monotonous after a long trip. Starts to wear on you a little bit, I guess you could say. I really do enjoy it. I've got a 5-inch straight pipe from the downpipe back, because these trucks are a pain in the ass to get a bigger downpipe in. And I'm not about to start doing that right away. I will put a bigger downpipe in eventually when I start pushing a little more power. I plan on keeping this truck able to pull my trailer, so I want to run a bunch of power, but I want to keep the drivability and able to tow my stuff until I can pick up another truck, another diesel, and then this one can be modified to my heart's desire. But for the time being, it's got to be kept relatively civil. speaking of which, I do plan on doing, I want to do dual fuelers, I want compound turbos. I'm going to be putting a stack on here pretty soon. I know I've talked about it before in a previous video, and now I've decided I'm actually going to be doing it. The reason being for this is for when I'm hooking up my trailers, I'm working off the back of my truck, things like that. I would like to stack just for keeping the exhaust out of my face. I'll more than likely be putting a muffler on it because I know the drone with a stack, it can get a little bit annoying, especially it's right behind the cab. It's almost as bad as running, you know, open downpipe. I had an axle dump for a little while and I liked it. It wasn't bad. The only thing is you can't tell how much your truck is smoking when you really start getting into the skinny pedal. And that can be a bit of a problem, especially if you're passing a police officer or whatever. You know, you're going to be paying attention regardless, but it's just one of those things, it's just a pain in the ass to have an axle dump. Everybody says it's so much louder, but honestly, with the stock, you know, dumping it in a stock location out the side versus the axle dump, I honestly didn't notice a huge difference in volume. It wasn't all that much louder, to be completely honest. So I don't know, I don't mind the axle dump, but it's just not really my style. It's a little too much truck race for me. Even though I say I'm going to put a stack on, it's going to get much louder. But you know, driving once you're deleted versus stock, it's not quiet. It's pretty loud, and I'll be giving an example here pretty quick on what it's like when it's deleted. I'll put the camera outside and let you guys hear it. Just driving around a bit. Yeah, the police take note of you right away, especially if you're in an emissions testing area or a place where, you know, you got to have it on. I haven't been bothered for it. Hopefully I won't. I try to keep it as civil as I can. I try not to drive around like a complete asshole. Sometimes I get with my buddies and, you know, we start driving around a little more aggressively, to say the least. But it's all about time and a place, right? Now back to the modifications. So I'm going to have to do track bars here, dual steering stabilizers. I want to put new shocks in. I want to put new shocks in all the way around the truck. I'm thinking about Bilstein 5100 series. They're supposed to give it a nice ride quality and you still retain your ability to tow, which I obviously need. So compound turbos, dual fuelers. I'm going to be doing my internals. That's going to be a must. You know, you can't expect a shit ton of power out of a truck with stock internals unless you've got like an LMM or something like that, which already has forged rods. I think it has anyways. But so I'll be doing my internals, my bottom end, doing all the supporting mods first, so track bars and things like that. You know, this is gonna be a cool build, I think. But like I said, it's not gonna happen overnight. It's a build in progress, just like any project is, and hopefully when I'm able to do that, I can start putting a little bit of money into my 78 Camaro there at home. It needs paint and it needs a little bit of body work and some rust correction, I guess you could call it. So I'm going to be doing a lot of projects like that. I want to push a lot of power out of this truck. It would have been nice if I would have thought about that to begin with. I would have bought myself a single cab long box, chop the frame, make it a short box, and then it could be a really, really awesome purpose-built race truck versus a crew cab short bed. I don't think it'll make a world of difference though once, you know, you're pushing a lot of power. You know, a few hundred pounds here and there. I am going to be doing a little bit of a different interior in this truck. I would like to put the dark King Ranch seats in here with a dash. I know lots of you are going to say, oh, you should have just bought a King Ranch to begin with. I was going to. one, they didn't have any King Ranches in stock at the time, and I really didn't feel like waiting. And at that time, it was just a little bit out of my reach for price range. They wanted like an extra 12 grand or something just for the King Ranch package, which I really thought wasn't worth it. So I got the XLT, which was the loaded XLT, as much of options as I could possibly get into this truck, without the leather seats, touchscreen, and sunroof, which you guys know I don't really like. But my friend has a King Ranch, and I rode in his truck, and ever since I've basically become a believer. So my last Dodge, it was fully loaded, and I didn't like the leather in there. I've since realized that Ford makes much nicer quality leather seats, so I'll be swapping the King Ranch interior into this truck within due time. But the deleted truck, it's extremely loud. Not saying I hate it, but I do love it. But it makes certain things that are more difficult. Like, if you go to a drive-thru, you're gonna have to shut down your truck. They can't hear a fucking word you say. You don't want to be screaming at them either, getting mad about your order being screwed up, because it's basically your fault for not being courteous and shutting your truck down. It's better on fuel, like I said, depending on how you drive it. If you're going to be, driving like a 16-year-old Duramax owner, you're not going to get great fuel mileage. Towing is good, like I said, for a few hours until it starts getting a little mundane. The drone in the cab with the windows up isn't all that bad. It's actually relatively good. Like, I never really been annoyed with it with the windows up. With the windows down, it is obviously louder, which I'm just looking at one of the nice houses here. This is a really nice area of town. It's kind of out of the way, but I'll roll down the windows so you guys can hear exactly what it's like with the deleted 6.7 with a 5-inch straight pipe. And I'll just be doing some civil driving here. And I apologize in advance if there's a lot of wind noise. I'll give you guys a little bit of a rev up and down and see exactly what it's